But first, Australia was one of the first non-NATO countries to offer serious help to Ukraine, with the first of 90 Bushmaster armoured cars going there after President Zelensky addressed our parliament in March last year. Then we started training Ukrainian troops in Britain from the start of this year. But lately, it's been not much at all. Earlier this week, the Prime Minister announced that our latest offering was a handful of Vietnam-era armoured personnel carriers, not the extra Bushmasters or the smaller Hawkeye fast armoured cars that the Ukrainians had asked for. Australia has more than 1,000 of each, and what's the point of having them rusting away in depots here when they could be useful defending democracy over there? Frankly, what's the point of the PM even going to the NATO meeting in Lithuania in a fortnight if that's all he has to offer? And why would our AUKUS partners take us seriously if that's the best we can do to contribute to global security at this perilous time? Peter Dutton labelled the government's latest effort as embarrassing and a garage sale, he said, of clearing out old equipment. Defence and security analyst Michael Shoebridge was similarly scathing.
Ukraine has asked for Bushmasters and Hawkeyes. They haven't asked for a slow 1960s-era tracked vehicle. And they haven't really said us giving them trucks is a priority. This does look like, the bargain bin that Defence has cobbled together.
So too the Australian's foreign editor, Greg Sheridan.
The government's having a lend of us. These people at Fort Fumble who haven't got an equipment decision right in Australia for 50 years suddenly know better what Ukraine needs than the Ukrainians themselves. And what a surprise. It turns out that what Ukraine really needs is these junk armoured personnel carriers, which we built at the time of the Vietnam War. They need those. They're better suited to Ukrainian terrain than our brand new, hot off the production line, Bushmasters and Hawkeyes.
And retired Major General Mick Ryan, well, he didn't miss.
Yesterday diminishes us as a nation. Frankly, it had the appearance of a package that's rolled out to keep critics quiet. At the end of the day, the government has pretty much ignored Ukraine's real requirements and provided a package that a banana republic might provide, not a sophisticated, wealthy country like Australia.
Well, more today, in a sign, of course, that we're not serious about helping Ukraine, comes the news that the government is refusing to develop a double taxation treaty with Ukraine, which would make it much easier for Australians to do business there to help rebuild the country after the war. Now, these treaties ensure that citizens of one country working in another pay tax only in one of the countries on any particular income stream and not end up paying tax in both of them. Now, we have double taxation treaties with around 40 other countries, including Russia. But Australian tax officials today are reported to have said that there's no plans to have them with Ukraine. They've got too much in the pipeline, they say, despite an urgent request from the local Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce. Now, you've got to ask the question here, why has helping Ukraine suddenly got so hard? Because it shouldn't be, given that Ukrainians are fighting for everyone's freedom, not just their own, and a defeat for the Russian dictator would be an obvious disencouragement for any other dictator. Now, one to our north, you know that one, the one who's got his eyes on Taiwan, a practically independent democratic island of 25 million people that shouldn't be allowed to be swallowed up by communist China just because the commissars in Beijing regard it as a rebel province. Now, I can understand why Australians doing it tough at home here might sometimes wonder why it's our job to help a country on the other side of the world. But that's what Australia's always done. Whether it was sending the original Anzacs to Gallipoli or sending pilots to the Battle of Britain, or the Rats of Tobruk putting an end to Rommel's march on Egypt. If we don't help other countries to keep their freedom, how can we expect them to help us if our turn ever comes? Or that freedom will even still exist anywhere in the world if it's not defended? That's why Ukraine matters. And that's why it's wrong for the government to have dropped the ball here. Now, it's not too late for the Prime Minister to think again and to take a worthwhile package, a better package of assistance to the coming NATO conference. I think he must, because our allies are watching. If we want them to treat us as a credible partner, we have to lift our game.